What's up everyone, it's Kelly and today I've got another swatch review for you. So today I'm partnering up with Mooncat to show you their newest collection, which is called Seasons of Persephone. But before we get into that, if you haven't heard of Mooncat before, they are a nail polish brand that is 10 free, meaning they are free of 10 of the potentially harmful ingredients that can be found in nail polish. They are vegan, meaning they do not use any animal derived ingredients, and they're also cruelty free, meaning they do not test their products on animals. So this collection is pretty different from what we've been seeing for spring so far. We've got 9 brand new nail polishes. One of them is a magnetic and one of them is actually a thermal, meaning that it changes color based on the temperature. So I am going to show you that using hot and cold water, but you don't need water specifically to change the color of the polish. That's just the easiest way to show it on camera. But yeah, let me show you the swatches first, then we can talk a little bit more about my thoughts on the collection, and then we can get into pricing and availability and all that good stuff. So roll the swatch footage. So as with all of my swatch and review videos, I am using base coat underneath all of my swatches just to protect my natural nail and prevent any stains. Today I'm using the Mooncat base coat. So I'll start off with the magnetic shade of the collection. This one is called Devil's Ivy, and it's actually this really beautiful sage green base color. And then we also have these magnetic silver shimmers running throughout. So it's a really beautiful shade. Honestly, even just unmagnetized, I thought it was so pretty. I love a green nail polish, but I also just love this sort of soft, almost blue toned kind of green. And I always appreciate having a magnetic nail polish that also looks good unmagnetized, because sometimes I really want to wear a color, but I'm a little too lazy to magnetize it. So here's what it looks like in 2 coats. I did get full coverage, but the way that I like to apply my magnetics is I'll apply for full coverage and then I'll do a final coat and I'll magnetize that while it's still wet. I do have a whole video on how to do magnetic nail polish, so I'll put that up in the cards if you're curious, but I did do the cat eye style first. So we have this really gorgeous 3-dimensional kind of line that just appeared when all of the magnetic pigment pulled towards the center, and it looked really beautiful that way. But I had a feeling that this polish was going to look especially beautiful in the aura or velvet style, so I did that next and I was totally right. I think it's so stunning this way. It's hard to see the dimensionality of it on camera, but it really just looks so beautiful because all of that silver magnetic pigment pulls up to the front, but then at certain angles you just see that beautiful soft green color. So really love this one every way. Now let's move on to the shimmers. This one is Garden of Evil, and let me tell you, I have not seen a polish like this before. It's a green shimmer, but it is so much more than that. We have this almost like chartreuse green kind of base, so it has a very strong yellow undertone, but it's kind of a medium green. And then within that base, we have this gorgeous duochrome shimmer that shifts from purple into like this coppery pink color. And then we also have a little scattered hollow fleck running throughout. So at first I did 2 coats. Honestly, I love the way that it looked. It definitely gave a bit of a softer vibe, but that color was so vibrant, and I thought it was just so interesting how when the light wasn't hitting it, it looked like this chartreuse green color, but then when the light did hit it, that's when you could see all of that shimmer within it. So super gorgeous. I did apply a 3rd coat just to show you guys, and that did deepen the color. It made it a little bit more intense. So really depending on my mood, if I want something that's just a little bit lighter or if I want something bolder, I would probably just decide how many coats I want to do then. And then we actually have another green nail polish. So let me tell you, I was very excited when I saw this collection because we got 3 new greens. But this one is called Fields of Elysium, and this one's basically just a lighter, softer version of Garden of Evil. So we have this almost dusty chartreuse kind of color. I really haven't seen anything like it. I would probably describe this actually as like a succulent green kind of color, but it almost has a gray tone to it. And then again, we have that gorgeous duochrome purple to pink shimmer, as well as that subtle hollow sparkle running throughout. So this one did give me perfect coverage in 2 coats, and even though it's a dusty shade, I love it. I think it's so unique. Moving on, we have the shade Petals for a Narcissist, and this is another really interesting one. It's actually meant to be a more sheer finish, and we have this really gorgeous soft gray, almost white base color. And then again, we have that beautiful purple to pink duochromy shimmer running throughout. So I started off by doing 2 coats, and I really loved the coverage here. Even though it is on the sheer side, you can just see a hint of that visible nail line. It was actually really smooth and not patchy at all, so there weren't areas that were more opaque than others, but I also wanted to see how it could build up. So I did do a third coat and I actually ended up getting pretty full coverage this way. I think it's just such a beautiful, soft palette cleanser kind of color while also giving you that really interesting shimmer. So this is a super fun one. It feels like a neutral with something extra, like an office appropriate, event appropriate kind of color, but then when the light hits it, you get the fun shimmers within. So I think this is a really beautiful shade. And then we have this shade To All Who Ghosted Me. This is actually another one that, looking at it, I want to describe this as a gray as well, but on my nails it actually almost looked like it was sort of a dusty purpley tone, and then within that we had the most intense, gorgeous blue shimmer running throughout, and that really shifted the base color a lot, which is why I think it looks a little bit more purpley to me. So again, I started off with 2 coats, and even though it was a little bit lighter, it was still really level across my nails, so there weren't any areas that were more opaque than others. So you definitely can wear this in less coats, but I did want to try a third coat for fuller coverage, and again, it just kind of deepened the color. It made that base a little bit more opaque, and you also just get a lot more of that beautiful blue shimmer. So again, just depending on my mood, I might wear it in 2 coats, I might wear it in 3. Next up we have the shade Lovebomb, and this is another really beautiful one that has just a very intense shimmer. So we actually have this almost dusty reddish kind of base color, and then again we have that gorgeous shimmer that looks like a purple shifting into a pink, and I feel like it's just especially vibrant with this base color. And then again we do get that subtle hollow sparkle, which was being a little bit shy on camera, but it looked so beautiful in real life, and this is just such a stunning shade. I usually don't love dusty colors, but I think just paired with that really interesting shimmer, it just looked so beautiful on, and it was very irresistible. So again, I tried doing a third coat just to see what that would look like, and I also really liked it in 3 coats. I think I actually did prefer this one in its more opaque version just because I think it's a little bit more intense, but it's a really unique take on that sort of dusty rose kind of color. So I thought that was really pretty. Next up we have the shade Freshly Bitten, which is a very appropriate name because this is a polish that I would describe as a vampy color. It definitely has that deep, seductive sort of vibe going on. It's this really beautiful, intense, dark pink base. And again, we just have that gorgeous purple to pink duochrome shimmer running throughout, which by the way, I love that they kind of have this overarching theme of that shimmer through all the colors. It really makes them flow so nicely together, and it makes them match very well even when they're like pretty different colors. So I was very appreciative of that. Again, started off with 2 coats. I thought it was really beautiful, but I knew that this shade was just going to get deeper and darker with another coat. So I applied a third coat and I fell in love with how it looks like this. I think it's such a stunning shade. It feels like a really great Valentine's color, but I feel like this could also be an any time of year color because I could also see this working really well for fall and winter because of that sort of jeweled tone that it gives. Next up we have the shade The Trouble with Immortality, and this one is actually a metallic polish, and this one is described as a bronze. So we have this bronze metallic foil polish with a bronze shimmer running throughout, and this one actually looked to be pretty sheer on the first coat, but it was still pretty smooth throughout. It didn't look patchy at all, and when I applied the second coat, I was really impressed to see that it did give me full coverage. So definitely a really nice shade and a very good formula. Lately, I've been really loving this type of bronzy, coppery kind of metallic over gold, just because, I don't know, I think it just has a little bit more interest, and I think it looks a little bit more unique on the nails, so I'm excited about this one. And last but definitely not least, we have what I would consider to be the most exciting shade in the collection, and that is Queen of the Dead. And I know you're probably surprised to hear that because at first glance, it just looks like a regular cream polish, but this is actually a thermal color changing nail polish. So in its cold state, which is how it is when I'm applying it right now because it was a little cold in my room, it's this intense, super dark eggplant purpley color. But then when it warms up, it actually becomes this really beautiful, dark berry pink kind of shade. And I'm actually using hot water on the left here and cold water on the right. And you can see just how quickly and intensely this color shifts. I'm actually wearing wearing it on my nails in the intro and outro of this video, and I'm still wearing it right now. And this is an extremely temperature sensitive polish, and I am just so impressed with how quickly it shifts around based on how warm or hot I am. I think it's so fun to play around with, and it's just so interesting to sort of see that natural gradient happen on my nails when my hands are on the warmer side, but the free edge is a little bit colder. So it's been super fun to wear. I'm also really impressed with the opacity of this one because it actually is a 2-coater. The formula is on the thicker side, but it does apply very well, and I think that opacity is just so incredible because sometimes when you have a thermal polish, the warmer polish tends to be a little bit more sheer, and it can take a lot of coats to make it opaque. So I was just really pleased with this one. It was definitely my favorite of the collection. So here are all the polishes together, and I have to say, I think this is such an interesting color story for a spring collection. I feel like they really did an incredible job creating polishes that work very well for the season and have a little bit of a classic color to them, like having these sort of dustier shades and having the green and the purple and stuff like that, but then also twisting it into something totally new by having those duochrome shimmers and the little subtle hollow sparkles in there. And I just think these color combos are so unique. And I also just really like having the special effect polishes in here as well. The thermal is just incredible. I'm totally in love with it, but I also really like that magnetic shade Devil's Ivy. I think it's so beautiful, especially in the aura style. So very excited to wear that one as well. So yeah, those are the polishes, and I love the color story here. I think it's just so different from what we usually see this time of year. It's honestly just a stunning twist on spring. I love the amount of greens we have, especially these more unique greens and not just like the classic springy green kind of color we see. And I also just love a very intense colored shimmer in a dustier color. I think that's just so fun. I think it really adds a lot of dimension to a polish, and there are just so many beautiful color combinations in this set. And overall, one thing I just appreciate in general about Mooncat is how passionate they are about their themes. I feel like they really just go all in with it, and they manage to create such interesting color stories based on their themes. So I just think they did a really incredible job here. And this was actually my first experience using a thermal from Mooncat, and I have to say I'm very impressed. I think it's just super reactive. The color is really vibrant, and I was also very impressed at the opacity. I think this is the first time that I'm wearing 2 coats of a thermal, and it looks opaque in its warm state as well. So I thought that was really cool. I do have short nails, but I was still very impressed by that. And I have been wearing it for a few days, and people are definitely noticing because the color shift is just so quick that people are just watching it change before their eyes. So I just think that's really fun. But yeah, now let's get into pricing and availability. As of today, all of these polishes are now available on the Mooncat website. They come in 12 milliliter bottles, and they do have a wide flat brush that has a rounded tip, so application is really easy. And all of the polishes retail for $15 USD each, with the exception of the thermal and the magnetic polishes, which retail for $16 USD each. You can also get the full set of polishes at a discounted price of $119 USD. So I'm gonna link everything down in the description. You can check that out if you're interested, but I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this collection. What do you think about this very unique color scheme? What do you think about this fun thermal polish? And which color is your favorite? Let me know in the comments. We can chat about it. And if you enjoy my swatch and review videos, please hit that like button. It really helps me out. It lets me know I'm doing a good job. And if you're not already subscribed to my channel, please consider subscribing. I put out new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And of course, a huge shout out to my supporters on Patreon, my royal astronomer Amanda M, as well as my cosmic admirals Paula, Ken, Rosie, and Angel. I really appreciate your support, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye. Today's fun fact question comes from Patreon supporter Sabrina, and Sabrina wants to know, did you play any sports growing up? Fun fact, I actually played a ton of sports, which sounds surprising because I feel like I'm just not a very sporty, athletic type of person at all, but I actually did not succeed at any of those sports, and I didn't do any of them long term. But I honestly tried so many different sports. I did basketball, I did softball, I did swimming, I even had a brief stint where I was trying ice skating. swimming. I did do soccer when I was very young. I did dance. I just kept on trying different sports, thinking that there had to be one that I would be good at and actually enjoy, and I just really didn't end up enjoying any of them. I actually never tried track or running, anything like that. Now I have pretty bad knees, so I don't run too much, but I do think that that's probably something that I would have enjoyed. But yeah, in general, I'm just not a very sporty person. I do enjoy working out. As far as actual sports, I don't think that there's any that I would play now. Oh, I also tried tennis. I'm just not good at any sport, honestly. Oh, did I say I tried swimming? If anybody of my followers did a sport growing up or is still in a sport, let me know in the comments because now I'm curious. But yeah, that's it. I'll see you all in my next video. Bye.